In today's gaming world, there are basically no video games with similar strategic gameplay to Pikmin. Despite the franchise debuting over 20 years ago, nobody really has pulled off making a game in the same genre. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe people are scared of lawsuits if they encroach on Nintendo's gameplay, but I can't imagine that's exactly it. If a game like Foam Stars can be developed and released with no issue next to Splatoon of all games, so can another game in Pikmin's genre. This genre is called Dandori, and it's defined by exploration-heavy squad management gameplay, and it's a subgenre of real-time strategy. For a long time, Pikmin was just known as Nintendo's answer to real-time strategy, but the gameplay is pretty different from other games in the broader real-time strategy genre. Though many games borrow elements from the follow-the-leader aspect of Pikmin, few try to actually emulate this exact kind of exploration-focused strategic flow that can be found in those games. Today's video, however, is about an indie game experience that is firmly in the Dandori genre, but aims to push it in a completely different dimension, emulating that Pikmin-type strategy experience in a completely new way. My name is Vantage Emblem, and today, I am so excited to take a look at an early access indie game called MoonDrop Chronicles. This indie project keeps intact the fundamentals that make a Dandori game work while shifting the genre over to 2D. I want to cover basically every possible aspect of the Dandori genre that I can on this channel, and games like this are a huge opportunity for me. I'm even working on my own Dandori game, so if you want to see any more of this sort of content, you should definitely subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. MoonDrop Chronicles is a Dandori Metroidvania, inspired obviously by Pikmin, but also by indie classics such as Cave Story. MoonDrop follows the journey of a band of small creatures called the Moonies and their leader through the atmospheric Nikto sector. We play as Callisto, a space pirate who has been separated from their crew. I absolutely love their design. There's something so familiar and comforting about the clear round helmet, but the addition of the moon on the top sets them apart from other characters in the genre. I just love the hoodie too. I think it gives a kind of cozy feel to their overall getup, and I think it makes them feel a lot more relaxed compared to a character like Olimar from Pikmin. Overall, 10 out of 10 spacesuit-wearing sci-fi character design. I love it, no notes. Alright, and after pressing any key on the title page, I was brought into a little room with a blue-scale color palette. What we're working with today is an early access, work-in-progress build of the game. That being said, the demo's gameplay is already extremely promising, so let's take a look at the tutorial. Once I gain control of Callisto, I get access to a crosshair that I can aim with my mouse. It's currently completely useless, but it will have a big role to play later. As I move forward, I find that we're unable to leave this room just by jumping, but fortunately, there's a helpful sign. This sign was placed by the Sign Guy, a guy whose apparent life mission is to, and I quote, put signs everywhere across the universe. How convenient! The sign that he left here teaches us how to wall jump, an essential movement mechanic in this game, and this vertical corridor lets us experiment with it. Once I wall jump up, I come across another sign, and you know I'm gonna read it. This one again informs me that it was placed by the Sign Guy. And this time it tells me I can't break down this white wall by myself, so I decide to move on. Oh, but it also says something about the night demons? That's a little distressing, but I'm sure it doesn't matter much for now.
1 hour later.
Oh, as I jump around, I'm delighted to discover another factor of this game's art style. When I switch directions, Callisto flips in a Paper Mario style way. I think it works well. I explore more, coming across creatures I can't yet interact with. They have no interest in me, so I wander for a bit. I'm lost, but I keep moving to the right, eventually making my way over to my ship and my crew members, the Moonies. Hey, the Moonies talk! And just look at their little portraits, they're just crescent moons with arms and legs and big ol' eyes. I really like them. They talk with Callisto and make a plan to find their fuel canister and to bring up their ranks by taking out the local wildlife. I really love this stretch of tutorial for being simple and unobtrusive. Using the very few Moonies that I have to start with, I decimate the local flora and fauna, bringing back their bodies to create new Moonie followers. And I wipe out everything, even going back to the start to harvest more of these starflowers. I'm an extinction level event, okay? It definitely makes sense that if these guys were space pirates, they would be able to sack and steal everything from a ship they robbed. Honestly, I'd love to see a Dandori game at this point that's just a pirate captain absolutely yeeting their crew into another ship. I think that could be a ton of fun. And the more I think about it, the more this really shows how narratively there's so much you can do with the Dandori genre. This game does, however, trip into a narrative pitfall that comes with the territory of doing a non-Pikmin Dandori game. And by that, I mean the game doesn't really explain why bringing back bodies to the ship yields more Moonies. But I guess it's a trope of the Dandori genre at this point, so I just accept it and continue hunting. As I finish battling enemies, I've sort of gotten to the flow of the gameplay. I obviously throw Moonies using the crosshair, and I also call them back with a Pikmin-reminiscent whistle, which works very well in 2D. I jump and wall jump and collect my way up to the fuel canister. The Moonies work well together, and they bring down that weak white wall from earlier, satisfying me with that proper Metroid-style progression loop. Find an item, use it to unlock a door you couldn't unlock before, and explore more of the area. I bring the part home, obsess over the Moonie counter GUI blinking at me, load my Moonies into the ship, and leave, ending the tutorial. So after all that, we're on to the second day. Callisto gives us our first end-of-day exploration log, and we're sent to a new world called Lunos, a planet composed of 2 crescent moon shapes. We'll be spending the rest of our time with the game's demo here, so let's get into it. The game's GUI indicates that there's a crewmate to rescue and 6 ship parts to find, so here we go. As we land in this new area, we're met with an interesting Mega Man-esque music track characterized by soft flutes contrasting with energetic bass. Additionally, green grass covers the otherwise blue landscape, creating solid visual contrast from the last area. Callisto informs us about the dangers of this place. We have to be careful going into water, for example, since the Moonies we have can't swim without the help of a ship part called the Bubble Protector. Additionally, now that we're out of the tutorial, we have to worry about sundown and the accompanying night demons. Basically, if we leave our Moonies behind, they're not gonna make it. This is a solid Dandori foundation, and I'm so on board. The movement in this area is much more complex, and I need to get really good at wall jumping really fast if I want to progress. I struggle with it for a while, though that's entirely a skill issue on my end. I think the area is really well designed to make you get better fast. As I explore, I end up losing a lot of my Moonies by accidentally drowning them, and also to the new hostile enemies here. I honestly did not expect either of these new hazards to be quite as lethal as they were. I find these enemies and hazards to be totally fair though, and ended up finding that every loss was totally preventable and totally my fault, which is a great sign for a Dandori game, but bad news for my ego. This game reinforces this well too. The experience of Moonies dying is rather distressing, as their ghosts fill the screen and their sounds are so sad. In general, the visual and sound design of the Moonies is really wonderfully done. The sun starts to set on me, and I see the whole brightness of the game world change. Not really knowing what to do or how night works, I go back to my ship and end the day early. Callisto's second end-of-day exploration log is focused on how many Moonies we've lost, and it makes me feel bad. But nevertheless, we return to Lunos the next day where, so far, we have found no parts or crew members, just accumulated some losses. Needless to say, we are off to a terrible start. So day 3, as we start exploring again, I've got to say that I'm just simply charmed by this game. I love collecting stuff with the Moonies, I love the environments, and I love how this game really pushes to make Dandori work in 2D. The indie team behind this game, Silver Moon Interactive, really has done some excellent work here. And, quote, their team leader, is apparently a fan of this very YouTube channel, which is like the coolest thing ever to me. Actually, I started talking to Quote during the scripting process. I'd like to give a huge shout out to them for joining my Discord and sharing their game there, which is how I found out about it, and of course, for developing it and being super helpful while making this video. While chatting with them, I learned that when they showed the game off on Reddit, a lot of people told them that this game is what Hey Pikmin should have been. Playing it, I totally see the vision. In fact, I'm pretty sure that before even getting to this part in the video, someone has already commented, "This is what Hey Pikmin should have been," on this very video. I would bet money on it. If you're that person, ha! I'm talking about you. But in all seriousness, a Hey Pikmin game that was a 2D Dandori Metroidvania, rather than a Dandori light puzzle platformer, would have been so much more interesting than the game we got. And the way that MoonDrop Chronicles pioneers this concept totally proves that point. There is no doubt in my mind that a Pikmin game made in this style would work and work well. But MoonDrop Chronicles did it first. This game is definitely its own thing though. The Moonies, for example, move nothing like a Pikmin would. They're so fast, and I love it. While I initially was shocked by how fast they move, I grew to really like the zoominess of the Moonies. I think their speed makes the gameplay a lot easier to manage, and their franticness really reminded me of NPCs in a game like Paper Mario. That said, maybe they're just a little too zippy sometimes, specifically when they were flying over to me from the ship, and this could make it a little hard to tell what exactly is happening with them. I think a good solution for this could be that, when they warp from far away, a warp animation would play to make their actions clearer, and maybe when they move vertically, it could have some particle effects attached. Still, what's here right now definitely works, especially when you get used to it, and it's so much fun. Eventually, I make my way across my first post-tutorial ship part, but I can't actually carry it yet. I can only bring out 25 squad members, but I need 35 to carry it. I also came across a sign from the sign guy warning me of a giant robotic frog who had just captured somebody. I honestly really love the sign guy and look forward to each of his signs at this point. I want to know who he is, I hope he's possibly playable, or at least meetable in person at some point. I really like the sign guy, okay? I'm a sign guy fan. I decided to explore some more before going to battle this giant robotic frog, and oh boy, I am really glad I did. I go into a cave on the upper right side of the map across the way from the frog, and here I find the shooting stars, a different type of moon that I can use. These guys pack a punch, but they don't lock onto things, and more importantly, they can tear down these orange walls that I could not break earlier. Though this is outside of the scope of the demo, I remember some of these walls being in the tutorial area, and I'm so excited to go back there and hit them with these new guys and backtrack. But for now, I just pop back on over to my ship, a journey that's pretty easy given I can just fall down and eventually I'll be right there. Honestly, the way this game does its level design lends itself to an easy journey home, and that's incredible. It's so appreciated. I could imagine future areas being a lot tougher if this convention wasn't followed at some point, but I'm really grateful for it right now. Even as I explored the twisting network of caves that make up Lunos, I never felt hopelessly lost. I was always able to just drop down and easily find my way home, and that is great. Eventually, I arrived yet again at sunset. A countdown played, and I watched some of my Moonies desperately try to get home safe as the night demons approached. And let me just say, they were appropriately freaky looking. I would not want one of these things showing up at night in the real world, that's for sure. There's some end-of-day chatter from my crew, shooting stars still in tow, and then it's back to Lunos for day 4 and day 5. Let's move on to the final 2 days. We're breaking down walls now. We take down the big orange wall at the left end of our base, and this actually makes wall jumping and parkour here way harder, since it's basically like taking off the training wheels. Instead of having a big surface to work with, I'm now using the smaller platforms to parkour off of. It's a really wonderful way to scale the difficulty up as you progress, since the player is going to want to break this wall down to eventually explore, but in order to do that, they have to have mastered wall jumping enough to have found the shooting stars. Genuinely, there's some amazing progression here. Speaking of progression, we managed to finally snag a ship part. Each part in this game gives you a Metroid-style upgrade, and these upgrades are part-specific. This one happened to allow us to double jump, which lets us reach even higher places. Now that we have this new ability, we go fight the frog robot, and hey, he talks? Apparently, he pulled away one of our crew members at the behest of his boss, and now it's time for us to kick the tar out of him. But it's not as easy of a fight as I expected, and he keeps wally-hop jumping and crushing my guys. I'm able to take him out pretty fast, but I don't learn his pattern fast enough to do it without casualties. Once he's defeated, he drops the Bubble Protector, my favorite upgrade in the game. The Bubble Protector allows our Moonies of all types to go into the water, though it's more of a gravity suit than it is Blue Pikmin. By making this upgrade apply to all of your Moonies, the devs implemented a clear and clever way to open up new areas while also avoiding the blue problem. This is where the waters are only home to one unit type, and therefore it's really an exclusionary area. In a 2D game like this, the blue problem could cause serious pacing and exploration issues since it's rather hard to go around water, and the Bubble Protector solves that swimmingly. Get it? It's now time to explore the waters, but before then, I want to build up shooting star numbers. I scour the map, harvest some stuff, spawn more guys, and then we're off. As the spoils of my raid are brought back to the ship, new Moonies spawn, and I was surprised to find out that these guys immediately zip to me. Meanwhile, the Moonies that dropped off the bodies remain at the ship, waiting for me to return to give them new orders. It was a little weird at first, but I actually really like this mechanically. It means I need to keep making return trips to the ship, but it also affords me more troops immediately if I'm suffering losses.
Oh, I also guess I picked up a part here, but I didn't actually realize I got a part here. Didn't even realize I picked it up here, so that's cool. Anyway, the day ends, and we're on to the next one now. Thank you.
I hop underwater where I fight some jellyfish, and I grab a part apparently made by the Moonies themselves that ups my overall unit capacity on the field. This increased from 25 to 35 when I found the shooting stars initially, and it's going to go up another 10 now. Since there's no part collection indicator, I have to watch them go back to know when I've acquired the parts. But since the transport routes are fairly forgiving, it's not a big deal. I explore a bit more, breaking down a bunch of walls, eventually finding another waterlogged part, the idle indicator. Once I bring this home, this part makes arrows pop out from me, pointing to my idle Moonies. And man oh man, it's such a helpful tool. I'm able to find all of my idle guys with ease now. I keep exploring, and I have another sign guy encounter. This time, it's some lore, telling me that there's a dangerous non-native animal called the cloudfish here. Thanks, Sign Guy. Honestly, I love every time the Sign Guy shows up. Sign Guy, my beloved, give me more signs! I start exploring to find this cloudfish, gathering more guys, and oh, look at that, I'm out of time. The day ends, and with it, so too does the demo. 5 days in, I've only done about half of what this demo has to offer. After a brief chat with the game's developer, I'm back in immediately for another run to see the stuff that I missed. I zoom through the day 1 tutorial, and then I arrive at Lunos. I start sprinting through the level in the first 2 days. I make new guys, I battle enemies, I battle the frog bot, I get the bubble protector, I break down walls and clear a path to the idle indicator. I snatch that part and then quickly get these shooting stars. I break some more walls and I grab the hop shoes, which let us double jump. And I also grab the Moonie altar to up my numbers to 45. I smash through some more walls, grow my numbers a little more, and then day 3 ends. That was a whole lot of Dandori, and honestly, this is one of the rare games outside of the mainline Pikmin games that really has this Dandori collection flow to it. Despite being a 2D Metroidvania, this game is capturing the feeling of this genre perfectly. Though the creators describe their game as Dandori Light, since it branches off from the core gameplay of Pikmin into 2D, I'd actually argue it's closer to a true Dandori game, since it really does preserve this strategy and flow. I got to start off slow, learn the game, and then, when I hit the time limit, I got to try again, faster, given the limited time. It pushes you faster, and it's an experience unlike any other genre. Alright, it's now day 4 of our second playthrough, and it is now time to do some new stuff. We explore for a bit, jump around, take out some walls. It's more of the usual. With a little bit of exploring, we eventually find our first new part, the toothbrush. Wait, no. Okay, this is Sephi's flag, which can be used to rally up the Moonies and command them to charge. I never quite figured out how to use this, but it did add a neat little bar to my GUI once I brought it home, and it did add another part to our tally, so I'm content. Eventually, we find our way to another part, the radio, a powerful item that lets us summon all of our Moonies to us. There's 2 uses in a day, and it stops the Moonies from doing what they're doing, but it's a great utility ability, especially when you need reinforcements in a battle or when you need to get your Moonies together at the end of the day. We are definitely going to be using this later. We have somewhat of a struggle trying to get this home as this guy walks over and causes some trouble for my squad, but with some ingenuity, we'll manage to take him down, get his corpse off of the part, and carry everything home. It's a bit of a janky setback though, since the Moonies want to both go to the corpse and to the part. My numbers aren't exactly high enough to get the body off and then get the part home, so I guess we'll have to go exploring some more first. I go to the right and, hey look, it's the cloudfish! I love this shadowy mushroom-looking Tesla coil of a boss fight. He shocks down lightning onto my guys and I navigate them away. Eventually, I took him down and, hey, he drops another altar. I'm bringing that home alongside the cloudfish's body to both up my numbers and give me some more guys. With this increased squad size, I'm able to get my body off of my radio, and I'm able to get the radio home safe too. Before night falls, I use the radio to summon all of my guys to me, ensuring that they aren't taken from me by the night demons, and then I'm off into orbit. With 1 day to spare, I collected 6 out of 6 ship parts, plus an extra 7th, and I found all of the area's crewmates, completing what the demo had to offer. So, what did I think? MoonDrop Chronicles, despite being in early development, is a refreshing Metroidvania-type Dandori experience. It's a lovingly put-together indie game with an enjoyable movement system and exciting exploration. But you don't have to take my word for it. The demo is freely available to play right now on itch.io, so you should totally play it and form your own opinions. The link will be in the description and in the iCard above as well. That being said, what do you think? Does this look like a game that would interest you? Is there any feedback you have for the dev team? Have you played it? Did you enjoy it? What was your favorite part? Let me know in the comments down below. I highly recommend playing it if you haven't. Before I wrap up, I want to give another special shout out to Quote for being so open about their game's development and so genuinely excited for this channel to cover their game. It means a lot. I wish them and their team the best of luck completing this project. Anyway, I'll stop rambling and end things here. My name is Vantage Emblem. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far and you aren't subscribed, you probably want to at this point. We're going to do more stuff like this on this channel, so do that. And if you've been subscribed for a while, thank you. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone. Let me know what you think when you play it. Bye!